Start.
This is Monday, July 1st. There are 16 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2019. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog. Where's the music?
Where is the music, James?
This is what happens when, I don't know, it's Monday, beginning of the month. Yeah. Here we go.
VANUHTEE go. Oh my god, I love LiveJournal, and my LiveJournal loves me. Current mood is hyperactive. Current music, Refuse 73. I love the color scheme, it's pink and purple.
All right, good evening. We're off to an awesome start. I am your host, James Riley, and joining me on the podcast tonight, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us.
All right, so we're going to take your comments and questions throughout the show. So you can tweet us at SD_comic_con or use the hashtag SDConCast. We'll also be keeping an eye on the YouTube live chat if you wish to comment there. So this is a news-only podcast, and we haven't had a podcast since last week, so that's a week's worth of news, and there has been a lot of news.
Oh my god, so much news. So much news. I mean, Thursday, Wednesday, whatever day that was, we wrote or updated 62 articles in that one day.
That's great.
It is crazy. So yeah, a lot of news.
All right. So first off, we have, as Carrie mentioned, we've updated some articles many times, including the announced autograph and signing schedule. That is continually updated. We have some new stuff on there, including Fierce Reads and just Inside Editions, I think, and just a ton of other stuff. Andy has been keeping the open artist commissions list updated, and that gets updated almost every single day, if not multiple times a day, as artists open and close their commission list. And Carrie, you've been keeping the list of announced panels post updated, which we were just talking, and is over 200 panels now.
Well over. I tweeted like an hour ago, if you're watching us live, that we had like 40 plus panels, and then I kept going through the post, and I was like, no, Carrie, you forgot to add Disney and Fox. So it was well over 60 today alone. So yeah, we definitely have way more than 200 panels in that list now. Truthfully, there's not that much left to be announced. You and I were kind of talking about it just before the show. I think what's left is pretty much like Sci-Fi / USA, Cartoon Network / Adult Swim, Comedy Central, Stars if they're bringing anything. Marvel Studios still has to make their official announcement. Paramount still has to make their official announcement. I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, but I think for the most part, we got a lot of it today.
Right. And speaking of some of the things that we got today, one of the first things, well, there was a bunch of stuff just right off starting in the morning, but one of the things we got is AMC's full panel schedule, which includes Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Nosferatu, and The Terror Infamy, and Preacher. So AMC's bringing a ton of stuff. They're bringing 5 shows this year.
Which is huge for them.
Yeah, Walking Deads are back in Hall H, of course, on Friday. The Terror Infamy is in 6A, and Preacher is also in Hall H in the evening on Friday. And then Nosferatu is in 6A as well on Saturday. So they have, on the site, we have the list of all the cast that they're bringing, and I think it's pretty cool that The Terror Infamy is bringing George Takei. So you'll be able to
saw that earlier.
Hulu at Comic-Con this year.
Yeah, which is cool because there's a whole bunch of Star Trek stuff in general going on this year, which we will talk about in just a little bit. To jump around here a little bit, one of the other really big things that happened over the last week, obviously, is that the portal opened. It is, just as we had kind of theorized, they are doing the point system just like they did at WonderCon, in that basically you have so many points per day and that you have a badge. If you don't have a badge on a certain day, you don't have any points for that day, but you can allot them however you want. So if you want to put all of your points towards one signing or one exclusive on a day, you can do that. If you want to split it up between 10 different things, you can do that. You can allot your points however you want. The portal will stay open until, what is it, July 9th, I believe, at 12 p.m. And then I think it's like 24 to 72 hours later, they will do their little randomization, whatever, and then tell you if you won.
Yes. I'm
Yes.
just looking through the YouTube live chat for some of the questions. So
That's okay. I can answer a couple of these in here. Earlier, we were talking about what companies had announced for their panels. Chris asked anything on History Channel coming. We know Project Blue Book is. I have not heard anything yet on Vikings. That's kind of the big question as far as history goes. And then somebody else asked, Nat Geo going this year. Did they do panels? I feel like the only thing I ever hear about Nat Geo is the party, which is its own little mess right now. Let's see here. Any other questions you want to answer? Anything from BBC America? I am still waiting on everything from BBC America. Exclusives, panels, all that jazz.
a non-newsy type question, Adrian Rosashi asked, have some concern about their shipping address in the verified for volunteer badge. They haven't received their badge. I'm pretty sure volunteers don't get shipped.
Correct.
Those you pick up on site when you start your shift.
Yes, that is correct.
So worry no more. Pick it up when you get there. Back to some of the things that were announced. We have CCI merch was announced, and they had a lot of stuff because of, obviously, it's the 50th anniversary, and they had a lot of cool stuff. They had the now annual Tiki mug. They have T-shirts, and including one that has the logo from the original Golden State Comic-Con. They have the toucan. Basically, they have some of the ones from the pins and a few extras. They have a hoodie. Let's see, what else do they have? They have hats. They have tote bags. You can pick up any of the pins that you didn't get if you didn't get the one you wanted, or if you want to get all four. They have a water bottle and the 40th anniversary book that they did 10 years ago. Everything is available for pre-order. Remember that you can only order once. If you mess up, then you're out of luck. So make sure your order is correct before you hit that done button.
Yep, and as many of you have pointed out, I said that things pretty much never sell out, and then this year a ton of stuff has sold out. So if you have not put in your order, you might want to do that soon. I know at least some of the pens have sold out. They may all be sold out. I'm not entirely certain. I know that tech hoodie sold out. I think maybe the other hoodie did. I might be wrong on that. But they do keep inventory for on-site. So if you want any of that, you can go on Thursday. I believe Wednesday is only for pre-orders, but you can definitely go on Thursday to pick up any of that stuff that you missed. In the big news that I care about today, NBC announced their plans for Comic-Con, which are massive. That 10 Fish area that they always have, this year it's going to be the Brooklyn 99 precinct, and it's going to be a cool little experience where basically you go in and you're like a recruit at the precinct, and they're going to have you do some fun little activities to try to join the precinct. So that'll be fun, especially if it's anything like last year's The Good Place activation. If you got to go to that, it was amazing. They're also bringing Superstore for the first time to Comic-Con. They will be at the Hard Rock Hotel for that with a little customer service desk that will be giving some stuff away, so you can go check that out. The Good Place is coming. They will be taking over Mary Jane's, which is that restaurant connected to the Hard Rock that Sci-Fi always used to take over. So I'm really happy somebody's using that again. It's going to be the interdimensional hole of pancakes, and they'll have themed menus, and it'll be awesome. And I will definitely be stopping there.
At least once.
At least once.
We also had, let's see, what was next? The WB room keys were announced. At least the TV show ones with Batwoman and Pennyworth. Those will be given out at the local hotels when you're checking in. Do we know if there's going to be other ones besides Batwoman, and Pennyworth, or is that going to be?
Yeah, there's going to be a Watchmen one that HBO, I guess it said HBO would be giving out. I'm like, does that mean HBO was like standing on a street corner handing out room keys? Like, surely not. Surely it's just there's a third design that they haven't shown. But the wording was really weird. And then CBS is coming back. Like we said earlier, they are bringing a whole bunch of Star Trek stuff. They're bringing Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, that other one whose name I can't remember right now, but all of that will be in like a back-to-back Hall H panel. And then they're also bringing a couple of their other shows, including Evil, and then the new Nancy Drew. For Evil, they are also going to be doing fright scene tours in the evenings in Old Town, where basically you hop on a little trolley thing and they'll take you around and they'll show you some footage. And presumably it'll be somewhat like a ghost tour kind of thing. They'll have giveaways for that. There's that Step into the Twilight Zone experience. Tickets did sell out this morning, unfortunately, before we got a chance to post it. But there will be a standby line, so you can always go and join that. Truthfully, for stuff like this, a lot of times the pre-reg lines honestly mean next to nothing. So don't worry too much if you missed out on that. And then CBS is also bringing carpool karaoke, which is awesome. And that's going to be over at Petco Park as well in the interactive zone. And basically you get to like hop in a car and pretend like you're doing carpool karaoke. So that's cool.
Yes. So we mentioned so many panels today. Disney Television, which is now also Fox Television.
Which is so weird. I got the press release this morning. I was like, oh, yeah.
Right. Which means it was also a very big list of shows. And it's basically a bunch of stuff we already knew.
Yeah.
Except for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going into Hall H for the first time.
Which I mean, we didn't even think it was going to show because it didn't go last year. So that's big and that's really cool.
Yeah. So there was a bunch of other stuff on there. I'm looking for it now because I didn't have a link really handy.
I mean, it's pretty much just all it's like 90% Fox for the Disney stuff. There's that Emergent show. There's Stumptown. Like you said, there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over on the Fox side. You know, you've got all the animated stuff, Bob's Burgers, American Dad, Family Guy, some new shows like Bless the Hearts, a Hulu show, I think Solar Opposites. That's what I can remember off the top of my head.
And then we had two successive announcements from Netflix. They're bringing both The Witcher and The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. They're happening in Hall H on Friday. 2:15 for The Witcher and 3:30 for The Dark Crystal. Looks like they're bringing. They haven't really announced cast yet, have they?
Well, they did for Witcher. They didn't for Dark Crystal. So for The Witcher, they're bringing Henry Cavill and then two other ladies whose names I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But for the Dark Crystal, they have not announced cast.
And Freya Allen. There you go.
There you go. But yeah, for the Dark Crystal, they have not announced cast yet. And that cast is like massive and amazing. So quite frankly, they could pull like 3 random people off that cast list and it would still be like one of the best panels of the week. So
and they're probably just going to grab whoever happens to be in town.
Yes, I think so too.
All right.
Do we want to get to some reader questions?
Some questions.
Okay.
Let me see here. First one, Xavier asked, are we going to see anything on Rise of Skywalker? Jermaine dropped the bomb on our podcast a couple weeks ago that there will be no Rise of Skywalker at Comic-Con.
That's right. Okay. Maya asked, will more stuff be going up in the portal? I'm sure it will. I mean, we had stuff added today. We had that It Chapter 2 signing that went up today. I'm sure that there'll be a couple of little random signings that are added between now and then. The other random thing that got added today was the Lego minifigure, which is funny because The guy I know at Lego who handles their press was like, that wasn't supposed to happen. So either someone changed their mind or it wasn't supposed to go up. Guess we'll find out here in a couple days. Let's see here.
We also have, let's see, on Twitter, Actual M. Cruz asked, are there any exclusives that pros and or press attendees can't partake in, like on preview night or something? Typically, professionals and press can get into or do access virtually everything, including the portal. A lot of the vendors selling exclusives do exclude other exhibitors until, like, I think it's I can't remember which one it was, but one of the big vendors excludes exhibitors until Sunday. So anyone with an exhibitor badge basically isn't allowed to purchase at some booths. But I think that's really, and I don't think they can get into the portal either for the exclusives. So
Correct.
you have, so
Correct.
basically everyone except for exhibitors typically can get into those things.
Yeah. So Adrian Rose has asked, any news where the Scare Diego happening inside or outside the convention? It should be happening over at, it was at the Horton last year, right?
I think so, yeah, the Grand Theater or the...
Yeah. It should be over at the Horton Grand Theater. And basically, they have not officially announced how they're doing tickets, but I very much expect it'll be just like last year, and that only those with preview night badges can go up to sales on Wednesday to grab a ticket to attend. I think last year each ticket admitted 2. Again, they haven't officially announced, but I would very much guess it's the same. Taka Show asked, how do we win unofficial blog buttons? Through our prize mule, which is basically our online, well, our social media. It's not, you just follow us on social media. We'll post a photo of the mule. If you're the first one who finds us, you win a prize. If you're a little bit later, you usually get a secondary prize.
Yep. And of course, we should have some left for our party on Sunday. So if you want to buy the PACYCon on Sunday evening after the convention closes, you can always try and get some buttons there. We have a series of questions regarding the exclusive portal. Pac-Man wants to know how the exclusive portal works. Like, do you put each of your points in one exclusive and autograph booth, or each point at a time slot and autograph? Clark Kent says, because someone was replying in the chat, I don't see how it's possible to add more than one. If you have it in your cart already and try to add it again, then it tells you that you already have it. And what you do is you actually go in and there's a quantity button you can change once you've added it. So you can change the quantity of the tokens you have assigned. And then we had another question, which is, when's the best day to wait for everything to be added to the portal? I would say Sunday night or Monday, because then the schedule is out and you know what you can kind of get a rough idea of what you're planning to go to, and then you can sign up for the things that fit your schedule the best. So like if you really are going to have a really busy panel day on Thursday, you really don't want to sign up for a lot of exclusive items on that day. You can put them all on one time, like either at the end or the beginning of the day. But if you're going to be available all day Friday, go ahead and sign up for multiple things, put them on wherever you want, autographs, exclusives, whatever you're in there for. And go that way.
Hold on. I do just want to clarify real quick. If you have already added something to your portal and you want to add more points, what you actually have to do is completely remove it and then re-add it. And as you're re-adding it, just look for that little quantity button. And if you click on it, it's like a drop down. You can choose how many points. But once it's like in your confirmed selections or whatever, you can't alter the points. Like I said, you have to remove it and then re-add it with the new points. So just FYI.
Right. And a couple other questions. Damien asked if you want to see Dark Crystal and Witcher, but don't care about the other panels. What are your chances? We will be answering all panel-related questions and going over a breakdown of the schedule on Friday evening and Sunday late afternoon. So you can catch our breakdown, the schedule podcast. And if we don't answer something there, then you can ask us again. But we will probably be covering exactly that once we know what else is in the room as to what the room flow is going to be. And then Mr.
Can I answer?
You go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Mr. Cross asked, the signings available in the portal, do they cost money or are they for free? All of the signings are free. The things that cost money are the exclusives you may have to purchase once you win an option to go purchase them.
Yep. So I'm going to answer a couple other random questions in the chat. David Tapia asked, how long are the waits for activations like The Good Place? Well, this year, The Good Place isn't really doing an activation. It'll just be the restaurant. So it's just however long it takes to get a table. But the Brooklyn Nine-Nine one is similar to The Good Place. Last year, lines for that got up to as long as about 3 or 4 hours. But it was definitely worth it, in my opinion. Damien asked, will Nathan Fillion be doing a signing? To be determined, because the rookie is actually going this year, but we do know that ABC will be doing signings. However, they will not be part of the portal. It will be first come, first serve at the booth. If they do it like last year, tickets were available starting Wednesday night. They were pretty much all gone at the end of Wednesday. So if that's important to you when they announce that, head to the ABC booth on preview night. Let's see here.
Yeah. And the Nathan Fillion one is going to be in the Horton Grand Theater, so it's going to be one of those get a ticket in the morning and then go when it's your panel time kind of a thing.
Yes. Andrew Howe asked, any hint when Conan tickets will be available? No, but as soon as they go up, I mean, we'll be posting. Any other questions?
Yes, from Twitter, we have Gutshot asked, any word on Mondo? No word on Mondo, but we should be getting something from them soon because they definitely have some. We had Brock on for Mondo, and he said that they have stuff in the works, and it's just when they have it ready, they'll announce it.
Yeah. I mean, we still have like 16 days.
Yeah, it's not that close. I mean, it's in less than 3 weeks, but it's not that close where they can't announce a ton of stuff between now and Thursday on or Friday.
Yeah.
You know, some people actually do that. I don't know.
A lot of people actually do that, actually. I think that's about it for questions.
For now.
Okay, so moving on to offsites. In addition to Conan, Team Cocoa House is back, which we knew, but we now have the schedule. They changed the wording at some point between yesterday and today, and it now, instead of saying they'll go live on July 8th, they now say they'll go live the week of July 8th, so it may not be Monday. But they've got all kinds of cool stuff that you can sign up for. Like there's stuff with Andy Rickner. You can go and see stand up with the Conan writers. There's a table read with the cast of Final Space. There's all kinds of other stuff. And they also said that those Midnight at Coco's mixers might have a surprise bartender, which I would not be surprised at all if Conan shows up to one of those.
Yep. And FX is bringing back their cool lawn activation area like they usually do. They're bringing back American Horror Story, What We Do in the Shadows, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Archer, basically all the usual suspects, and it's running from Thursday through Sunday. And you can pre-register at some point. It'll be open for FXSDCC.com. And that's about it for that, right? I mean, there's nothing really different about the FX one. It's what they've been doing for years.
No. Yeah, same thing. I'm not really sure why this is an offsites. Can I skip this one?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to answer a couple of questions that I don't think James has in our little list. Let's see here. Who's Nick asked, thoughts on the Amazon offsite activations? I think they look awesome. I'm super excited about those. Amazon did a great job last year with that Jack Ryan, and I think that's going to be amazing. Clark Kent asked, I don't remember, is Team Cocoa House cost or free? Last year it was free. I hear they did something similar somewhere else, though, later last year, and it was paid. So possibly to be determined, but my guess is still free. John Kim asked chances for fandom tickets tomorrow. Not good. Is my answer. Yeah. Okay. Some other questions? You want to take some of these other ones?
Sure. Alejandro asked, how does the She-Ra autograph work from Mattel? Is that on the portal?
No, Mattel's not on the portal.
Well, how does the Mattel autographs work?
I don't know. So here's the thing. here's the thing, okay? We get asked all the time, like, how do autographs work? And like, there's not a one answer fits all. Like, Lisa on our autographs list, if we know the procedure, we will put the procedure, but literally, if it's not, it's basically up to the booth to determine whatever the heck their process is. Every single one is different. In fact, the mini booths, like different signings at the same booth, will work differently. So pretty much what you have to do if you want a signing at one of these other booths is you basically have to go to the booth, ask again, ask again.
And make sure it's a different person each time.
Theoretically, yes.
Christian Hernandez asked, do requests for Conan fill up, or do they take all requests in a certain amount of time? I think they fill up, correct? They leave it open for a while, and it's gotten it's gotten shorter some years than others, so it seems like they fill up, but
I feel like it's always up for like minimum 24 hours.
I thought it closed early one year. I think it only closed like
maybe
at the end of the day one year.
Maybe it did, but it's always up for at least several hours. Like, they definitely take way more requests than they have space for. So it's not like a first come, first serve thing. That's not what this is.
It's random, just like everything else.
Yes. Andrew Howe asks, any idea how cool Mickey's Disco Night is going to be? I mean, Questlove's there. That's cool. Is it worth the $50 that you may have paid? I don't know. You will have to answer that for yourself.
It's Mickey, and it's disco. So
it's Questlove. Yeah,
we're already starting at a certain level of cool.
That's right.
And if you are a D23 Gold member, you're also going to get some exclusive stuff. We have a question in similar lines of what we kind of answered, but didn't answer earlier about Adrian asked, waiting for Marvel on Hall H, which day should I start making the line? That is up to you and the rules for how they have for lining up. We really don't offer suggestions for should you line up 2 days in advance or 1 day in advance, because we feel that people should be enjoying the convention and wait in line as little as possible. But we know that it happens. And we will, when we go over the schedule podcast, we will say what we think will happen. But again, it's a personal decision as to when you think you should line up. We will answer the question when we think you need to line up in order to get a wristband, which is the important part.
Yes, we never answer like what time do you think you should line up to get first or super close, because and truthfully, guys, like I say this every year, I don't think anyone, quite frankly, should suggest that stuff openly, because as soon as someone posts a time, someone else sees it and is like, well, I'm going to get there 20 minutes earlier. So my personal suggestion, keep that stuff off social media. Just my thought.
And then we had a few other questions for things like Mattel booth for exclusives. Do you get tickets, or is it first come, first serve? Mattel is first come, first serve, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Don't quote me on that.
But there is a lineup for it, and I think there is a section to get to it when you.
Yes. Yeah, and it's definitely not up in sales, and it's definitely not in the portal.
Yeah.
So again, go ask at the booth.
And do you have to be 17 or older for Conan? The tapings? Is there an age limit on the tapings? Is it 16?
I don't know.
I have to look when that. We'll make sure that the rules are posted when we post them. But I don't remember seeing any rules. I know that the nightclub may have some age limits. The Team Cocoa House might, because it may have some reason, alcohol age limits or something. But I think that's it for. Is that it for the
offsites?
So offsites, there's a ton of offsites. I mean, and we're finding more like, there's the Walking Dead along with their panels. They announced that they're having the offsite over on the lawn outside the Hilton.
Dead quarter.
The dead quarters. So there's plenty of offsites coming. Like Carrie mentioned, Amazon is going to have the offsite over in that parking lot, which is actually already being built.
Yeah.
We posted
crazy.
I mean, it's insane, because that thing's going to be massive again. Last year they had that helicopter up on a 20 or 30 foot building that they built, basically.
Yep.
So, and some people in the outside Comic-Con is confirming, among other people, that Conan is 16 plus. Kathy asked, anyone in chat know about Mattel check-in for the pre-sale? I think that's at their booth. You just head to the booth, check in, and then they will send you your stuff after the con.
Yep.
And I think they have 2 booths too. They have like the display booth, and then they have the purchasing booth. So I don't think it's going to be at the display booth.
Cynthia Hernandez asked, no Legion at all this year? No Legion at all.
Because it's going to be basically over by the time Comic-Con rolls around, right?
Yeah, I think it might have like an episode or 2, but not enough to
Yeah,
for them to spend money on it.
And it's over because this is it. So
yeah, and Holly Henning just said, thanks, I made her yawn. Yeah, sorry guys. I've been up since 4:30 a.m. my time. It's now 9:05 p.m. my time. So this is fun.
Yep.
Yep.
Are we
Welcome.
going to move on to exclusives?
Exclusives? I think we are.
So why don't you take the first one, and then we'll just alternate.
Sure. So Toddland has started their announcements. We've got 2 of the 3 right now revealed. We've got American Dad, which went up for pre-order for booth pickup today. We also showed off the Family Guy stuff, which will go up tomorrow around 10 a.m. And then after that goes live, probably about an hour later, we will be showing off the Bob's Burgers stuff, which I have seen a couple of sneak peeks, and it looks really cool.
And let me see here. So we have Hasbro with one more surprise exclusive. Actually, if there was a few after last podcast, so let's go over those. We had the Blaster versus Soundwave 35th Anniversary Edition trading card game set. Includes 2 large and 6 small foil characters, as well as 2 40-card decks of battle cards. That's going to be $50. And then we have the DreamWorks Trolls Classic Good Luck Trolls Convention Exclusive Double Pack, which will be $29.99. And I think, what else did we have? Oh, the Magic set. Look at that. The Magic the Gathering Dragons Endgame will retail for $99. It features some special versions of cards by artist Adam Paquette. And then finally, we have the Overwatch Ultimate Series 6 Reinhardt figure with Bundeswehr skin from, what is this, from Overwatch? Yeah, from Overwatch.
Yeah.
And
It's
$60.
Darren. It's Darren.
Who has been a previous guest on our podcast.
He's not okay. He's not only been a guest on our podcast. Darren, long before he was famous, showed up at our very first party. He and I stood in a corner for an hour and talked Broadway, and he and I have been lifelong friends since. So love you.
And then we also had the Green Ranger Razor scooter for $79.99. So that was also on there too, if you saw it before. Picture went away.
Yes.
But that is all of the Hasbro stuff, and as usual, Hasbro is in the Portal Lottery, and then at a certain point it goes walk up only, and then you just buy whatever you want that's still in stock.
Yeah, that's basically it. Monogram is bringing a couple of exclusives, including this cool Transformers 3D foam bag clips set that will retail for $25. They also have a fun Harry Potter 5-piece enamel pin set, which will retail for $25 as well.
And Funko had just a few more things to announce. I've noticed that someone in the chat, I can't remember, oh, there it is, Scott asked how much does Funko stuff cost at the con. They revealed all of that, including, which we don't have it on there, but they also revealed what the Funko X SDCC booth may look like, which is basically, as Carrie mentioned, it was going to be a wall of Funkos. But they revealed the 2 Star Wars exclusives, the Green Yoda and Boba Fett. The prices are basically going to be regulars are $15, 2 packs are $30, 3 packs are $35, and then all the other stuff is a range of $8 for Pez, all the way up to $60 for the skateboard decks, and those prices are available on the exclusives page on our site for Funko.
Yep. Let's see here. Upper Deck, we got to announce their stuff today, and it looks awesome. I'm super excited. They've got a really fun 18 by 24 inch print, Smoke and Mirrors by artist Francesco Francavilla, which features symbiote Spider-Man and Mysterio. It looks awesome. It's going to be $100. And then truthfully, the thing I'm really excited about is they are bringing back their popular trading card pack. But this year it looks even cooler, and that basically they got a whole bunch of their artists to design really cool pieces of artwork for it featuring different Marvel characters. And that will be $10, and it looks amazing.
And last year, when they did a Marvel Studios 10th anniversary card pack, which I managed to get one of. So it's very cool. They're really high quality and awesome cards. Nickelodeon announced a bunch of exclusives, including the SpongeBob SquarePants Mocking Imagination SpongeBob Masterpiece Memes, which is going to be an 8-inch vinyl figure that'll be $30. There's also a Patrick version. There's SpongeBob SquarePants sponge heads that are $6 each. The metallic green Reptar Ikis, $15. Chucky Finister Bitty Boomer for $20. The Rise of the Turtles exclusive Shredder for $30. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Odd Socks. Nick's 90s fanny pack for $20, and Nick box for $50, which is just a bunch of collectible stuff all piled into a box for you. There you go.
That's pretty much what it is. Peanuts announced their exclusives for this year, which look awesome. To celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 10 and the Apollo 11, because Snoopy has a super long history with NASA and with the program. So all their stuff basically relates around that, but they've got some fun t-shirts. They've got those cool pens. They've got yo-yos. They've got a water bottle, a patch, a lanyard, some keychains. They've got a whole bunch of stuff. So if you love Peanuts, head to their booth.
Yeah, and who doesn't love peanuts?
Right?
I mean, they come in a hard shell.
You're so funny.
You can put salt on them. You can put chocolate with them.
Do you hear me laughing? I've been up since 4:30 a.m. Move along.
My time. Patrick Balstros announced another exclusive print heading to Comic-Con. This is the Party Crashers print, and it's Batman themed, and obviously a massive amount of Batman stuff with a cool little Batman symbol down in the basement. I thought that's pretty cool. Anyway, his usual awesome stuff with the usual way of getting it in Artist Alley DD08, $25, limit 1 per customer.
Lego announced their first minifigure of the year, which is basically a PlayStation.
She went away.
That's pretty much what we can say about him. Lego told me at the time that he was definitely not going to be. Sorry, what?
You have to repeat that because you went away for a second. So repeat what you said about Lego.
Sure. So Lego announced their first minifigure, which is this PlayStation 4 Spider-Man. Lego last week had told me that this was for sure not going into the portal, and then today it randomly showed up. So to be determined on whether or not it will stay there, we will find out.
And then why don't you go ahead and handle the ABC and Mattel as well while I go through these questions.
Sure. So ABC announced their stuff, and just like last year, it's a whole bunch of awesome retro things. We've got stuff for Golden Girls. They've even got stuff for Schoolhouse Rock. They've got stuff for Scrubs. They've got stuff for Lost. One of the things that people seem really excited about is that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Coulson badge and ID card. That looks pretty awesome. So with the ABC booth, if you want any of this stuff, I would try to get there relatively early because I know they did sell out of a bunch of stuff last year. Mattel had a surprise exclusive announcement with a Hot Wheels mouse droid character car for Star Wars. It will be $10. It was not available in the pre-sale, which basically means it will be available at the booth only.
Yep. Okay, so I managed to get through and hopefully grabbed most of the questions. On Twitter, Daniel asked, what can we expect for Marvel's Hall H panel? We have no clue yet. We've guessed about it, and we've theorized on the podcast with Jermaine a couple weeks ago about what they may bring, but we're assuming that they're basically going to be announcing the movies that they have in production that they haven't said a thing about that are actually in production because they haven't announced them, like Black Widow.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Trope Force asked about Patreon, which we have not mentioned yet. And Jeremy asked about where the link is to find it. You can search ublog on Patreon, and I think we might have a link on the site at some point.
It's on there now. It's on the sidebar. If you scroll down, it's just below where the countdown is, basically on our sidebar.
Okay. Are we going to be doing any other reward tiers, or is that just something that's the goodwill and you get the special name is about it for now, right?
Well, that's not true. So what we're doing, just to go over our little spiel again, to be completely transparent, our hosting costs have gone up like 4 to 7 times what they were last year, somewhat unexpectedly, due to an awful lot of factors, including heavier traffic, and also that our old web server shut down last year, so we switched over to something else. So we're not shutting down anytime soon, but we get asked actually quite a bit by you guys, like, is there anything you guys can do to help? Is there anything? Do we have a Patreon? So we kind of hemmed and hawed around this, but we finally decided we're just gonna put this up. No one is under any obligation whatsoever to donate or to contribute, do anything, but all the costs go to the website. And basically it's just, if you think that we contribute value to your Comic-Con experience, it's a way to give back at like $5 a month. We are, for anyone who donates at least $5, we are doing once a month podcasts, which will basically mostly be me and James talking about Comic-Con and Star Wars and what movies we saw. We actually posted our very first one this morning. So that's just a little bit about the Patreon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Clark Ken asked, is there autograph authentication companies at Comic-Con? I think there are, but you would have to check the exhibitor list because they would have a booth. So if you know some of the names of some of the autograph authentication companies, just see if they're going to be there.
Yeah.
John Kim asked, just to confirm, the SDCC and Funko table is just selling the Batman Funko with Comic-Con bag and the other SDCC Funko, right? Yes, they're selling 3 things. The Toucan, the Toucan Pez, and the Batman with the Comic-Con bag.
Yep. Wallow Toucan.
Yeah. Mike Nilsson wants to know, Carrie, can you talk about Lynn and David coming to Comic-Con? And Broadway is invading Comic-Con.
I mean, I'm excited. I don't like Hall H, but truthfully, like, if I can find time to go to his Dark Materials panel on Thursday, you bet I will be there. I mean, I think it's awesome that we're getting some Broadway folks, especially those two, considering obviously how big Hamilton is. So I mean, we kind of laughed about it internally when that got announced. Like, no one was like, "Ooh, James McAvoy." Everyone was like, "Lynn." So
right.
Yeah, like truly, like no one cared about McAvoy, which is hilarious because McAvoy's amazing, but like that's the level here. So I love, quite frankly, that there's so much passion for Broadway in general among Comic-Con attendees. So cheers to my fellow Broadway fans.
Oh, this is a question that I can answer very quickly. Who's Nick asked, Carrie, how long do you wait in line for Hall H? 0. Because Carrie doesn't go to Hall H.
But like, let's clarify this. I don't like Hall H, but I camp out for stuff. Like,
Yeah.
truthfully, last year was the very first year I hadn't camped out at all. That was a whole new experience. It was weird. But I'm a TV person. Most of my stuff is in Ballroom 20, so I'm always in that line. But I don't really go to Hall H.
Yes. So you can find her in line in places, just not in line for Hall H typically.
Yes.
Holly, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. Have you heard anything about the WB bags?
Yes.
I can say yes, no. Have we heard anything?
Yeah. Actually, the little booklet that came with your badge, quite frankly, completely confirms that they're coming back. So if you just look through that, the bags are back. WB's doing them again. It's for sure going to be TV shows, I bet, even though WB Studios is not there. I bet we still get 1 or 2 movies, just like always. So remember, when the list of bags come out, the movies are never on that. You won't see those until you get there live. But yeah, the WB bags are back. So.
And Alyssa asked, are badges needed for any of the NBC offsites, particularly the Good Place Diner? No.
No. Yeah, definitely not for that. It's just a restaurant that's branded. Like, you can go and eat there without a badge.
And Sarah asked, sorry if this has been asked already, tips for strategy for using your points in the lottery. If you're going for one thing, do you put all points for one day towards one slot, split it into 2, etc.? That is a personal decision, which we have mentioned before, what to do. But if you only want to do one thing on a day, yes, absolutely. Put all your points into that one thing. That's every token you use is one more chance to win. It's basically like a raffle where you, instead of 1 ticket, you have 20 tickets in the raffle. So it just increases your very slight odds of winning to mostly slight.
I mean, yeah, that's basically it. Is that it?
That might be. Any more details on the Gathering Batman 80 after party on preview night? No, we have not heard any more details, but in about a week and a half, we are going to have Adam, the director of the Comic-Con Museum, on the podcast, and we'll ask him then.
Yeah. You can ask Adam whatever questions you want.
He may not answer them, but we'll ask.
Yeah, we can ask.
So I think that's about all of the questions that I have seen. Does Hulu have a booth inside the convention?
Well, they kind of do, actually, because again, we live in a weird world now where Disney owns everything. If you actually look at the map, the exhibitor map, instead of just looking at the actual list, what's normally the Fox Home Entertainment booth, or maybe it's just the general Fox booth, that now says Fox/FX/Hulu. So we might get some Hulu stuff over there.
Again, because Disney owns everything, so
weird world we live in.
Yeah. One. Holly asked, do you think each person will get one item from the lottery now since it's this way? Absolutely not. There are still too many people entering everything for you to win. Now, if it's like one of the least popular things and you enter it, you might have a better chance than you have in the past, but it's still not going to be a really great chance.
Yeah.
So I would assume that even the least popular thing will have hundreds of people putting in a token for it. And
absolutely.
Most of the things like the signings, I think most signings are anywhere from 75 to 150 people get in.
Yeah,
so,
that sounds about right.
There's, at best, you're going to have a 50% chance on the least popular thing. And probably I'm being very generous.
I think you are. I think you're being very generous. Okay, so Kimberly Lujan keeps asking about the AMC booth. No AMC booth this year at Comic-Con.
Panels and offsite. That's what you're getting for AMC this year.
Yeah. Okay, so shall we move on to the rest of the exclusives? Do you want me to just speed read these?
And some of these, I don't even know how many of them are new or this week, but we had a ton of exclusives. So just start reading.
Okay. Yeah, so we've had a ton of stuff. Skybound announced a whole bunch of stuff that's debuting this year, including like another action figure set, some skate decks, some other stuff. Big Pins has been announcing a bunch of stuff, including some Dragon Ball stuff. BFi & Co. announced their t-shirts, which we posted. Inside Editions has some awesome signings, giveaways, and more at their booth. Entertainment Earth has been announcing stuff like 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, good God, we had so much stuff the other day. I'm like, what did we even post? Think Geek, some more Alex Ross stuff.
Graffiti.
What else did we post? Yeah, graffiti.
The Monkey Mini Press has those really cool postcards in a print.
Yes.
Here, I mean, there's just so much stuff.
So much stuff.
I think I was going through, and I think there was like 8 pages of exclusives posts since last Monday, something like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I mean that sounds right. So yeah, all of that information is on our site.
So we had a few more questions. Karen asked, anything special happening on preview night? What should one do if it's your first year going? There are multiple things happening. We have those things on our calendar for the offsites. Inside the convention, it's basically get your shopping done, go see some pilots and season premieres or special episodes up in Ballroom 20. So basically make your choice based on what the rest of your convention is going to be. Like if you don't think you're going to have time for any shopping, get your shopping done on preview night. Go look around, see what's up. But it's it's basically your choice. Get the stuff done that you think you want to get done. Pac-Man asked any info on WWE stuff, like a panel or shows like Steven Universe. Are they going to have a panel? Iron Souls said that WWE usually shows up on the Mattel panel. I think they may also show up on things like Boom Studios, because Boom has a license for comics.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And Steven Universe. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know that we did announce a couple of like the women of wrestling the other day. So
right. Steven Universe likely is going to have a panel. They've been having a panel every year. We just haven't gotten the Cartoon Network stuff yet.
Yeah,
and
probably get that tomorrow.
Yeah. Diana asked about Walking Dead signings. There is going to be at least one because there is a contest to win entrance to the signing on that one Walking Dead slots game, which you can check out the information for that on our site.
Which basically means that it will probably be offsite. So if you have questions about that, you should go ask around at Dead Quarters is what I would do.
Right. Holly asked, do you think when the volunteer emails go out stating we got a job time for pre-convention? I heard from someone that they got a pre-convention request for stuff. So I think some of those already have gone out. If you didn't get one, then maybe you aren't getting one this year, but I have no idea how the volunteer system works. And if they send them out as they get filled up or if they send more when they don't get filled up. So
yeah,
we shall see.
Who's Nick asked, the boys premiere party and screening, will it have a long wait? It really just kind of depends on this stuff. It's so hard to tell, honestly, with any of this stuff. They did leave it open for like a day, maybe, or at least a couple hours. So I think quite a few people did sign up. But then, of course, the question is always how many people will actually show up. I mean, it could be 5 times the capacity, or it could be that everyone thinks it's going to be 5 times the capacity and no one shows up. So the general rule of thumb with any of these kind of things is basically watch social media. If the line doesn't look long, even if you don't have a ticket, head over. Odds are you can probably get in. If you do have a ticket, watch social media and see if you think even with that ticket, you'll make it in. Who's Nick also asked, nothing like the Demolition Man Taco Bell this year. I did confirm that Taco Bell is not coming this year. I did specifically ask that. So nothing exactly like that. But who knows? We've gotten some super awesome stuff from Yum Brands over the years, like those Colonel Sanders statues that still fuel my nightmares. So we'll see what 2019 brings.
Yes. And then Bam asked, is there a list or a reference for exclusives that are online pre-order versus first come, first serve? Really, just go to our site and each individual exclusive page that we have, we list how to get them. So if you're interested in something specific, go to that vendors or exhibitors page on our site and look it up and see what we say about how to get them. There is no
Off the top,
way.
yeah, there's not a one way. Just off the top of my head, though, Toddland is doing pre-sales for on-site pickup. Acme Archive is doing that. Monogram is doing pre-sales for shipping. Factory Entertainment is doing pre-sales for shipping. That's what I know off the top of my head.
Okay. I think we've reached the end of the news-only episode. We did not even cover all of the news. There was
No.
way more news than
No.
covered here.
Go read our site.
You got to be like tuned out because that's too much. So what we're going to do is we are going to do, coming up on Friday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, we are going to do the breaking down the schedule part 1 for preview night Thursday and Friday. And then we will do on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific, we will do the breaking down the schedule part 2 with Saturday and Sunday. And then coming up on July 10th, we will have our final episode of SDConCast before we go to Comic-Con. And we already announced one guest is going to be Adam from Comic-Con Museum. And our other guest, did we want to say who the other guest is going to be, or do we want to leave it a surprise?
We can announce. You go ahead and announce. Okay.
So we are going to have the Her Universe founder and the Her Universe Fashion Show MC and Ahsoka Tano herself, Ashley Eckstein, is going to be on the podcast. Caveat, of course, yes, it's very awesome. See right there. Of course, schedules may change, which has happened about 50 million times this year on the podcast schedule. But we are hoping that both of them show up, and we'll have a very full show for our final show before Comic-Con. We're also going to do all the news. So buckle in for probably about a 2-hour episode when we go on the 10th.
Yep.
So all hope is not lost if you need a badge, because we have contests, including some that I think we've just posted some contests today. The radio stations in San Diego are starting to announce their panels. I'm sorry, their contests for badges. So head on over to the contest hub on the site.
I'd also just like to mention that if you are a big art person, now is the time to start paying attention to our Under the Tens and also our awesome commissions list, which again, this is my plug every week for original art is awesome. It also does not have to cost you an arm and a leg if you can't afford original art though, or if you don't want that, go still support artists in Artist Alley, go buy prints. If you are an exhibitor and want us to feature your SDCC plans, you can shoot us an email, which we will give in just a minute.
All right, and if you're an exhibitor and you want us to feature your last minute SDCC plans, feel free to shoot us an email. Attendee of the week is still going. We have a few more to go. We may even extend them past Comic-Con and do them possibly year-round, or at least for a little further after Comic-Con. Just go ahead and head to the site and enter our BR Attendee of the Week questionnaire.
Yep. Prize Mule also returns this year. We've gotten quite a few of the awesome things. In fact, I actually had a couple of UCC things sitting around my... Hold on. Actually, you know what? I've still got one. Should I grab it real quick and show them?
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. So I've got this little dude, which is the UCC distributing melted Kuchikopi. That's why he looks so funky, and you can squish him and he will pop right back up, which is pretty cool. So you can get this at the UCC distributing booth, and we will also be giving him away. So
pre-squished being given away.
Yes, we've got all kinds of awesome stuff for you guys. So,
and what's returning Sunday night after Comic-Con?
PaceyCon. The only party all about Pacey litter from Dawson's Creek is our somewhat tagline. Also, the only after party that's after Comic-Con. It will be Sunday night at the Dubliner, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can come by. It will be us. It'll be pretty chill. You can sit. Holy shit, you can sit. after Comic-Con. We all want to sit. You can eat, you can drink. We will have a coloring contest. We will have trivia where you can win random crap, but it'll be amazing. So please stop by and see us.
Yes. And we already went over the schedule, but please join us on the next and final 3 episodes leading up to Comic-Con.
Yep. You can also sign up for our newsletters, which we are actually sending out weekly, thanks to our lovely graphic designer, Sarah.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. And in closing, Carrie, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Carrie Dixon. James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
I am everywhere at Dan Regal, and you can check out geekshotphoto.com for photography links from my wife and I, as well as all of our social media links. And thank you to Beth, our producer, for editing this show, creating all those slides you saw, and all the other little things that get this podcast done.
Yes, thank you so much, Beth. We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog. You can search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We are also on Stitcher Radio. The link is in the show notes. If you would like to join our Patreon, the link will also be in the show notes, or it's on the sidebar of our site. And thank you so much to everyone who has already signed up. We greatly, greatly appreciate you.
If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you all for listening and watching. Everybody, go
Shawarma.
with you too.